Welcome back to this week's Beyond the Panel. This week we are doing another listener suggestion, so we're doing Vertigo titles this week. Vertigo was an imprint of DC for their more mature titles that started in 1993, I believe, and kind of retroactively affected some of the stuff that was pushing towards that. But I believe last year they discontinued that line, and it's become DC Black Label now, and a lot of things have retroactively been branded Black Label. So I picked out some of my favorites. My first one is Incognegro. This one is the prequel that was published by Dark Horse. A lot of these have hopped publishers over the years from Vertigo. But the first one was published by Vertigo, and it is about a white passing black man that worked for a black newspaper up north, and because he was white passing in the 30s, he went down and investigated lynchings in the South, and he was about to retire, but he had to do one more job, like the old trope, and has to go down and save his brother from being lynched. So this is a really good mystery, noir series. And like I said, this is the prequel, Incognegro Renaissance, and the first one is just Incognegro. My second one is 100 Bullets. We actually have the complete series in the system. It's 13 volumes, and it's another sort of crime mystery noir by Brian Azzarello that does a lot of really cool crime stuff. He's written for Batman. During my werewolf episode of Beyond the Panels, he's also the one that did Moonshine about the bootlegging werewolves. But this is a really complicated and crazy plot, but it starts out with this mysterious guy approaches people that have been wronged and gives them a gun, information on the people that have wronged them, and 100 untraceable bullets to do with as they may. And some people decide to enact their horrible revenge, and some people decline. So that's how it follows along for the first few volumes, and then it just sort of spirals from there into this really in-depth mass conspiracy thing that's really cool. And the next one is Skreemer, that is also about this hitman that is going around in a post-apocalyptic future where everything's controlled by mob bosses, and he's kind of the last of his kind and trying to make his way in the world. And it's inspired by a lot of old vintage gangster hard-boiled movies, and also James Joyce's Finnegan's Wake. So an interesting pairing, but this is one of the very early Vertigo titles that inspired a lot of the genre to come. My next one is actually a rare superhero Vertigo title. It started out as Image. I think it started out as Image. But it hopped publishers a few times, but it eventually came home to Vertigo. It's well known for its Alex Ross covers, and it is a completely different world where it just so happens in Astro City, per capita, they have the most superheroes of anywhere else, and a lot of the stories are just slice of life, like what it is to live in the town, or different volumes follow a certain maybe superhero. This one is one of my favorites. It's the second volume, and it follows a mysterious Batman-esque hero called the Confessor, and it follows his new sidekick, the Altar Boy, as he tries to find out just what the deal is with the Confessor and where his powers come from and who he actually is. So this is a really cool series that usually self-contained, but it builds upon each other. And we have several volumes in the system. It's a really good read if you've never read anything by Kurt Busiek before. He's pretty awesome. My next one is one of the titles I was talking about that retroactively became a Vertigo title. This really pushed the boundaries in the early 80s, and when Vertigo was established, it moved over to that imprint. But this is Grant Morrison's reimagining of a Silver Age superhero, Animal Man, who has the powers of various animals. But he really tapped into the socio-political issues of what it means to have such a deep connection with animals. And it's a really weird series. It borrows from superhero, fantasy, horror, all kinds of different genres. And it was a very, very big series, but this is the first of the first, so it's a great jumping on point, and it's been revamped a few times. We have a run of the New 52 that kind of is the sister series to Swamp Thing, because the Animal Man is an avatar of the red, which is like all the animal world, and Swamp Thing is an avatar of the green, which is the plant world. My other one is another old school one that was retroactively put into Vertigo. This is John Constantine, Hellblazer. You might be familiar with the Keanu Reeves movie. I hear they're maybe making a sequel to that soon, so that would be pretty cool. But this is actually the longest running Vertigo series. And he is this occult detective and confidence man who is kind of a hero. He stops the world from ending, but he is not a very nice or upstanding citizen. So, and he is haunted by the ghosts of all his friends and associates that got killed because of him. But he is... It mainly takes place in sort of the regular world, but there's this undercurrent of magic where the forces of good and evil, angels and demons, are fighting each other. And we have probably like 20 or so volumes in the system. He's mainly on his own. They have, in the past, brought him into the main DCU with the new current state of the DC universe. He's in the mainstream universe as well as his own title, and he's part of Justice League Dark with Wonder Woman and Zatanna and all of them. So this is a really cool, dark, spooky read that was really a flagship title, and not just for comics but for fiction in general, sort of really led the way to inspire lots of occult detectives that are now really prevalent in urban fantasy series. My last one is a newer one that just came out last year before they discontinued the Vertigo line. This is Hex Wives, which is a really neat, like, modern feminist tale about this coven of immortal witches that keeps getting reincarnated, and this fraternity of witch hunters that have been fighting them for centuries. Until through their plan that you find out through the series, give all the witches amnesia, and they are all like subservient 1950s housewives until they finally realize what's going on and enact their horrible, bloody, witchy revenge. And so these are some of my favorite Vertigo titles that we have available in the system. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and if you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them below in the comments. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.